Hi everyone, I'm Charissa.Willow with Charissa.Willow Mixed Media Art. I finally made my second video. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this whimsical little wiener dog piece. And I'm excited to tell you about the challenge I gave myself, the weekly wiener. I'm going to try to make one wiener dog piece a week for a year. So here are the supplies I used. I used a couple of ink pads. I ultimately used this versified black ink, but I thought I might use these other ones. I used this little doodle stamp. I used a script stamp. I used this rainbow stamp set, and this is the first time I'm using this stamp set. I used this Stampers Anonymous tiny text set. This has a bunch of positive quotes, and I used the quote, focus on the good. I used these water-soluble wax pastels. A stencil out of my stencil stash. This is one of my favorite stencils to use. A mat and a ruler. A stamp block. Some workable fixative. And some baby wipes. I went through my gel plate stash and I picked out some ones that I felt were some nice fall colors. I really liked this one. And then I picked out another one for the wiener dog. I already cut out the wiener dog. I just wanted to show you what this print looked like before. And so that was the basis to get started here. This is an Oohoo glue stick. I like these because they're really forgiving. When you glue something down, you can lift it back up and replace it if you need to. So now I am choosing what exactly the spot is that I want to cut a 5x7. So I'm doing a little bit more than 5x7, so I have like some leeway. These gel plate prints, I actually pull them on regular copy paper, so sometimes they can get a little bit warped and not exactly straight. So leaving in a little extra is good. I'm just trying to decide like exactly where I want that little guy to sit. So this takes a little while. I will tell you about my wiener dog challenge that I'm giving myself. I'm going to try to make a weekly wiener dog print of some kind every week, and I was inspired to do this by Bradley Scott Davis, who does the Daily Frog. So when I found out he did that, I thought that was really cool, and I think this will be a great way to keep pushing me in my artwork. Like, I hope obviously that I'm not only doing wiener dog artwork, but I think just giving myself this challenge will help me to stay creative, because I have a tendency, like, when I get more depressed or busy, I let my art just kind of go to the side, and making my art is like one of the greatest joys of my life, and I love sharing it with others. So yeah, I'm excited about this. You should expect to see one wiener dog a week for the next 52 weeks. I'm challenging myself for 1 year. So right now I am stamping the stamp on some scrap paper and just seeing like if I want it super bold or a little lighter. And then I don't want it just one line, so I'm going to cut the words out individually. And then I'm going to kind of position everything, see exactly how I want it, and then I'll be gluing it down with my glue stick. So now I want to do some stamping. I've pulled out a couple stamps from my stamp stash, and some white ink and some kind of, I think it's like an antique brown ink. And I try it on the excess paper, and I feel like the brown doesn't show up at all. So then I try the white, and then I realize I don't like that stamp. So I try the other stamp in white, and I think I kind of like that. So I try it. So I'm covering the wiener dog and then stamping so that I don't get it on my text or my wiener dog. But then I don't really like this because I feel like I can't hardly see it. So I decide to use this rainbow stamp, and I'm kind of excited to use this. This is the first time I've used this stamp, and I'm just placing it on a stamp block, and then I use the black VersaFine ink. But before I do this, I test it on the excess paper and I hold it over to see if I like the way it looks. And I do, so I add the little rainbow on top of the word. Next, I come in with a pen and I outline the wiener dog. So now I kind of feel like he's floating in space there, so I come in with these water-soluble wax pastels, and I want to give him kind of like a little ground to be standing on or something, so he's just not floating in air. So these are like, they go on like crayons, but then they activate in water. So when you activate them, they kind of react like watercolors. And they, if you kind of play with them, you can get them to leave this like in between like a crayon effect and a watercolor effect, which I think is pretty cool. So I come in with these and I just start to kind of play with them and see how it looks. So I get it to this point and I don't like it at all. So I decide to remove some of that by using a stencil as a mask and wiping it off with a baby wipe. And then I find my baby wipes are completely dry, but it worked to just dip it in the water, and it still worked the same. Don't want it to go quite so straight across, so I kind of bring this up a little bit. Just kind of play with it to get the angle that I want, and I feel like this stamp ended up making it look really cool, almost like cobblestone. It reminds me of the one that I did with Walter's photograph, if you've seen that one. So I just go back and forth, adding crayon, adding water, removing it with the stencils, going back and forth until I have it the way I like it. So now I feel like this black rainbow is kind of overwhelming the print, so I want to bring some more black into it to kind of even it out. So I'm darkening the edges with the pastel, and I feel like that's still not enough. So I use this script stamp and I practice on my practice sheet. I'm not inking the whole stamp, I'm just inking parts of it so it'll kind of look grungy. And I want to put it in like 3 to 5 places, just to kind of reuse it. Now I'm going in with this doodle stamp. And again, I don't ink the whole thing so that it will be kind of grungy here and there. I don't know where it's going to show up necessarily. Using the scrap paper to cover up the dog and the words again. And then I just kind of sharpen up the doodles with a pen. And then I realized I got some ink on the word good, so I re-stamp my stamp, and I peel off the one I had. I cut out a new one and I place it on there. And this is an example of why I like those Oohoo glue sticks so much, because you saw that it just peeled right off, and now I can just replace it with another one. So now I go in with the black pen again and just outline the words to make them stand out some more. And I think that I am finished. So the last thing I do is spray it with the workable fixative, and I always spray that outside. And these are some up-close pictures of what it looks like. Thank you for watching my video. Please follow me on Facebook at Charissa.Willow Mixed Media Art, and like and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment. Thank you. Have a wonderful day and focus on the good.